How is everyone's Sunday? Hope everyone is doing well. Their Sunday is good. Um, and enjoying your day. Just had a epiphany. Epiphany. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I was thinking about something the other day, and I thought I'll do a stream since Pearly has been asking me to do a stream. Like not me specifically, but he asked to do a stream for everyone. So hope everyone can hear my voice well. Like I don't have my professional microphone. Not professional. It's not a professional microphone. I don't have the um, wireless microphone with me, and I don't have uh, the whole setting. So I forgot to bring my tripod or whatever that is. Yo, Pearly, how are you? Hi, Joel. How are you? Rudras Thai mango. Wow, what is that even? I have no idea what that is. Joel always talks about fragrance. I have no idea what they are. So here goes a plane as soon as I start talking. Okay. Hello. Hi, Isaac. How are you? Scent of the day, Bois d'Armenie. Absolutely beautiful. Smells like Wilhelm mango skin. Ooh, nice. Hi, are we attempting to save what's left of Pearlie's insanity? Well, I mean, we don't want him to get sick with it, do we? So that could be part of it, Dusha. No, I had just like 20 minutes, like just waiting. Like, no, I'm not on the pool duty, so I was like, okay, well, Hi, Nina, how are you? I was like, okay, let's have a little chat because I thought about something the other day. I'm good, thank you. So, what I thought, and I want you guys to perhaps share your ideas with me. After party, yes, this is like, um, what's his name? Jacob's after party. What I want to know, like I was talking about how like life is difficult for someone who wants to be an artist, like make a living with being an artist. Scent of the night, Amouage Diamant, very beautiful. So queer beluga, y'all are smelly, very goody. I was thinking like must be very hard. Like I know all these kind of like painters or other people like when they were like obviously they made a lot of money once they were famous and like one of their works like hit the market, right? Like so once that happens, it really doesn't matter whatever you draw, you will sell, right? Same way, and then it appeared to me because I was talking about someone who was trying to like really kind of make it go like in this field, which is kind of really difficult these days. But then I was like thinking like, how about perfumes? Like I was thinking, so if someone is starting today, hi AJ, I'm good. How are you? If someone is starting today in like as a perfumer and making perfumes, I guess if they have their own brand, so that's only apply to that. Like if you are a perfumer for um, like a company or like you have the brief and you make what they tell you to make. Yes. The My question is you start if you are a perfumer and you're starting your own brand and you're not already famous, is I'm not talking about someone like Bertrand de Chaufour coming up with his own line. Like obviously there's going to be a lot of curiosity and people will buy. You starting your own brand, and then what do you make? Like, would you make something that would sell? Because, often things that sell aren't the things that, you know, I don't know. I don't know if a perfumer finds it interesting. Maybe things that they sell, there are some perfumers who enjoy to make kind of similar kind of profiles of other things. But I would like to think that if you're making art, you want your art to be unique if you are a perfumer. And what sells, it's going to be difficult to match that with your artistic desires, right? It's so hard to start a brand. It takes so much to get the exposure that would bring people in. Absolutely. At first, something that would sell, and after do something more creative. Yeah, but I was thinking about this too. Like, and this kind of jives with my professional life a little bit. In what I do for a living, doing the right thing is the hardest thing to do, and you get criticized a lot if you're really doing the right thing. And sometimes, you're like, well, doing the right thing should not be this hard. Like, maybe you should just like give them what they want, really. But then I was like, I can't change the sense of myself. I can't do things, half. I can't, like, it's just not me. This is not kind of person that I am. But I feel like, maybe this is a really generous, like, assumption that I'm making, that there would be at some point you're making things that unique things and whatnot, and they're not the selling. What they're selling is, the 100 Delina in the market. Would you say, what am I doing this for? You want this, here it is, and take it. Let me just read some of the comments. Thank you for commenting. We really, really wanted the conversation on this. At first, something that I read that. Well, Manuel Cross, Rogue Perfumery, became well known even though he didn't sell out for a while. Yeah, you must work in insurance. No, it's not. I mean, not really insurance, but it has something to do with it. I think you have to balance at the start, combined innovation with stuff that sells. Yeah, but it would be hard, right? Like, so you start, like, let's say you start a line of perfumes, and you have like two that are the best sellers, and there's this one that never sells. And I don't know, would that stay always never selling, or like when you're starting, would it eventually? Some people will discover it. It's a hard bet on kind of things, because once you are like production, I bet like some of these brands, like when they start, they don't make any money. Maybe they're losing money, like, to be honest. Um, but please don't be over compliant. Um, there's a philosophy that you have to make the best product art in your own eyes. You have to make what you love to create. Yes, that is another thing. So that was, I was wondering, like, when I sometimes ask the perfumers what notes they can't get along with, and there's a wasp. What notes they can get along with, what notes they don't like, what scent profiles they don't like, and they're never. I mean, I don't think that they were ever in a liberty of answering my question really freely, but it is just hard for me to get my head around, how can you make an art that you don't like? You know what I mean? Like, how can you even judge it's good or not, right? Like, I mean, I guess other people judge for you, but like, how can you do it? It's kind of really hard for me to understand that. Um, thoughts on cocoa? Thoughts on cocoa? Cocoa Mademoiselle or cocoa noir? Cocoa what? I love Chanel cocoa, so um, no. How about you do it? I think you have more experience than me. Nice nose. Vintage cocoa is great, absolutely. Now all of a sudden it's gonna. Here we go. As soon as I sit, it's gonna start being windy. Okay. Um. Good evening. What are we discussing? So what I'm discussing is when you're a brand and you're a perfumer, or maybe even a creative director. You're a perfumer. You're starting a new brand. You're not famous. Not people don't know you. What do you start with? You start with things that it will sell, or things that are unique. And if you're starting with things that they sell, how do you make them, despite kind of knowing that it's kind of it's just I can't. It's a hard thing for me. I would be true to myself, but I'd want to know if my particular style has an audience that I could capture. Right. Right. That's a hard one, really. Like, let's say if a fragrance like Baccarat Rouge 540, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's good, bad, whatever. I don't care. How would you know that it has audience? I mean, I guess you do a market research and see if people like it or not. But if you rely too much on market research, uh, you never be unique in some ways. Oak Moss Lovers, I like that name. Is there Oak Moss Lover here? I didn't read. Um, Give me something better than vintage Anteos, and I'll pay the higher price. If you start with mass appealing, then creative, they will feel duped. Yeah, I think that's correct. And also the other way is also correct. Like, for example, I think like I'm not going to name the brands because I don't want them to come after me. But there are some brands that you start very niche, and now in the third, fourth generation of their putting stuff out is become mass appealing. And I'm like, are you experiencing professional nihilism? Is that what it is? Like, is that kind of something that's stopping you from doing this because it's not making money? That's a reality, right? Like, if you make it's hard even to make this as a side hustle. Like, hats off for people who do it as a side hustle, but you put so much time and effort and energy into it. It's like, for me, it's really difficult to imagine if you want a proper brand get off the ground to do it as a side hustle. Um, as long as you don't choose a dumb name for your perfume, you're already ahead of most perfume brands. Oak Moss. Well, I mean that's what it sells. Sensitive thoughts. So, like, fragrance companies and fragrance brands are not selling the perfume anymore. Like, a lot of times, I'm not saying everyone, but they are selling the fantasy and of what a fragrance can do for you, and sex appeal. Really, a lot of times we see that. I think that's a fact, or at least something that I have seen. So if you're picking up something like that appealing, I mean, maybe it has a better chance of selling. Um, I think it depends on your goals for the brand and how you plan marketing it. Are you producing small scale in your own home? Are you ordering hundreds of kilos of oil with Firmenich? Yeah, well, that's a huge risk, right? And I think that's where you do the risk benefit ratio, in that, like, what is the risk that I am taking and how much of a risk it is. But even then, like, even though you could calculate some of these things, you could think about how it is. You never know. I think there's kind of a appeal in that, and thrill in maybe this would be something that will take, and maybe it will be something that would be popular or whatever. But I see what you mean. BR540 came from an established brand with money in the back, in case they don't sell. Yeah. No, I know that. I wasn't just talking about BR540. I was just like, in terms of the scent genre, it wasn't something that I don't think there was something like that before. Like, Ambrox and Crave came afterwards. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was before, but only Chanel would come after you. I don't think Chanel is doing it, actually. Like, what I'm saying, I've seen, like, these are more of a kind of. I'm not talking about luxury designers, really. Like, luxury designers are luxury designers for certain. They should have some mass appealing stuff. What I'm talking about is like some niche brands when they came out, like, there was this kind of mind-blowing scent of space, for example, scent of like something else and whatever, and then you smell their third generation fragrance. Oh, it's another ambery, boozy vanilla fragrance. It's hard to know. um just Tower is the blue blue. Well, I thought about it the other day and I was like, no, no, don't do this. But I mean, I can't blame the guy either. Like, at the end of the day, this is now a, a life for him, and like working, and I don't know, you have family where you have things to support, you know. I feel like we have to, as fragrance lovers, we have to take the shared responsibility in that, because majority of people who wear fragrances don't buy niche fragrances. So it's really hard market to. Oops, there we go. Sorry, I told you it's not professional. Um, it's really hard to come up with something that is, makes money for you, like, to sustain yourself. I'm not saying just make money that you become millionaire, to sustain yourself, and on top of that, something that you like and you're doing and will sell. Um, but if you don't have that money for Chong, oh, I can't hire a cruise for Chong. Your province is one big lake. Did you spot any moose or bear yet? So no. So we saw an elk last night, but later tonight. Usually bears come in really early morning or like late in the evening, and tonight we're gonna try to do late evening. So we're gonna We're gonna see if there we can see anything. Chong did nothing outside of Amouage. Indie houses have slim chances today. Guys, please like the stream, subscribe if you haven't, all those nice things. This is the channel, basically Mitra and friends talking about fragrances. Indie houses have slim chances today. They don't have the budget for marketing, and they're too creative to sell enough to pay back investors if they are any behind in brand. Yeah, I can see that. And but that's a, like sometimes I feel like we really go hard on a brand that decides that I'm gonna kind of shift the direction and um, start making mass appealing fragrances. Like I think we kind of really disappointed. We get angry with them, but I wonder what part of it is that you know is this something that has to play with it? Like if the world of today, I mean, to certain sense, it also goes for YouTubers, right? If you're making good content and you want to make, I guess, not, I don't know, you wanna grow and you wanna making good content. You're not making top 10 lists every week, but there are not much of a hit on those. No, there's not much of a hit. I was listening to one of the YouTubers and they were talking about how they had made one video about their like niche fragrances that they liked, and it was the worst watched like video. So in same way, like all this effort, time, energy, like all of that to put into making a content, yet you're not everyone wants. Like it seems like it's kind of a positive feedback loop, and like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, the more people watch something, the more it's kind of promotes it more. So it becomes a problem in there. Um, what's happening here? Hi, Bobby. Don't forget everyone to hit that thumbs up. Yes, please, thumbs up. Please like to stream. All those nice things. Hi, Sandra. How are you? Personally, I would want to release something that sets my brand apart from others. I may be idealist, but I would want to create something unique, high quality, and hopefully people will recognize it. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the only way to make that happen is that you have a job, is a secure job, that you're not worried about your livelihood, or maybe take a little bit of a hit, maybe reduce your hours so you can focus on this as a side business, because it's almost impossible to. I think its risk is high if you want to bet on, quit your job and do this. Um, that's kind of a risky. Sandra, we were talking about if you're a perfumer or like a creative director, you're not famous, you're starting a line. Would you start with a fragrance that is not? Would you start with fragrances that are bestsellers, or you would create what you think you love and niche and whatnot, and the nuances of each. Um, that's what I'm kind of trying to talk about, because I feel like, again, I feel we're being hard on some fragrances that try to kind of gradually shift the focus. Um, the hackers are controlling the cam again. Oh god, guys, I'm behind in comments. You know what made as a small brand if you end up on Lucky Scent or Ministry of Scent? That is true. I'm not really behind it. Okay, Mitra, les amis. Wake up, Rich. Yes, Rich is sleep. Within the first 30 seconds, I put him sleep. Like I should make a side hustle of with that, which is like speak for 1 minute and you'll be deep sleep. In the corporate world, sometimes you have to grind and pay your due before, yes, pay your dues before you can do what you really want. Yeah, and I hear about that. Like, and then how long you keep going? Like, that's another thing, right? Like, you say, okay, don't give up easy. Like, don't give up in the first 6 months. Don't give up in the first year, the second year. When would you stop? Because there's also that on the other side, the temptation that maybe this next thing, or maybe this next month, maybe the next day, maybe the next year would be the year, but what if it never comes? It is just such a. I think it's. I respect people who are like doing it, and they just kind of like gave up their job and just doing this, and before it becomes like a well oiled machine. I think ultimately you do need a range of perfumes, some more mass appealing and others are more unique. Like a car brand needs an SUV to support making sport cars. Yeah, I see that. I see that. And I think like I think that's like having a balanced line. It's okay. Like if you are you obviously want something that is probably more in the unisex ground, and then it could be worn in like evening fragrance, morning fragrance, something like that, work fragrance, stuff like that. But that's balanced one is a good idea. Um, but again, like that creativeness, um, I don't know. I feel like after the artists are also very usually emotionally very sensitive, right? So imagine putting so much time, work, effort into fragrance, and um, it doesn't take. You're like mm, all that and nothing. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard. Gosh, that's a tricky one. I will probably do something aligned with my taste, but compromise um, a bit in order not to do something too crazy, quirky. Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I think I would do more creative things, but have a very small, mass appealing line to become to come a few years later. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about like just doing mass appealing things just for the sake of it, right? And just kind of hold on for that moment to come. Like it's hard. It's hard. Um, Oh boy. Let's see. You might need one perfume as a gateway of your brand. I probably would first release a fragrance that I love. Maybe take my favorite existing fragrance and take inspirations from that. I would rather be perfumer than having my own brand. Yeah, I mean, even then, like if you're a perfumer, um, before you become a like a freelance perfumer, you kind of got to work for a company really, and it's not you deciding what to make, is the company's brief decides what you make, really. I mean, you have some, I guess, liberty in making things, but not total. And that is no, absolutely, this is what I wanted. This is why I want a conversation. I want to I want to hear what people think. um yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, having a one perfume and making it as a gateway. Maybe you have to spend a lot of money in marketing. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like a lot of money goes in the fragrance. I mean, we always talk about, oh, the juice doesn't worth that much. The juice is $5 in a bottle. Yeah, but you know how much it is to do the marketing. Like the marketing can be very expensive, and actually do the right marketing where it will take. Realistically, I'm not sure I could be a perfumer myself. More than likely, I'll be a creative director. Yes. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not going to spend like 7 years in school to become an O's. That's not happening. And I don't think I could do it like just like a self thought, not that organized. What would be important is having a good mix of the two, mass appealing and niche. If not, you might be put more one way and it would be hard to get out of what you would be known for. Absolutely. Just stopping by, say hi. Hi, Mo. How are you? Hope everything is going well with you and at the house. Um, yeah, I mean, hi, Calvin. It's a really tough question, but I want you to, y'all. I think as a community, we need to kind of take it to the consideration. It's this was a really good combo, but I think in as a community, we should really take to considerations when we are criticizing niche brands that are going in a little bit of a mass appealing direction. There are reasons. There are real life reasons that they do it, and it's not always about like greed. It's sometimes about sustaining, like smaller branding, like sustaining themselves. So I'd say I'd say this is a really tough market. Not I don't know the kind of person who could do this probably should have some saving, like, and then be able to focus on this for years. And hopefully will take it. But if it doesn't, keep going. You need that kind of person who doesn't give up, which is kind of hard. People say a lot that they might. Hi, fragrance dude. How are you? People might say that I'm not giving up. I'm gonna do it. But realistically, when you're losing money and you have so much passion, effort had put into things, it's hard. Like I remember visiting a perfumer in Graz. I was there. She's actually from Canada, BC, but she lives there in Graz. And I met her there, and we were talking about things. And she talked about how when she started in even a Graz like an exhibit or fair, like they they didn't even like she had registered, she had bought a table, but they gave her like the crappiest spot ever in the fair. And how like even the other, they were kind of mean to her. Like she said, it took so long to be, established and do these things. So, um, and then to come up with something that you really love, and also gives you, sustenance. I don't know how you say that. That is, I mean, best of both worlds is like having the cake and eating too. But just saying, that's not an easy job. I'm just hoping that, I wonder, and I don't know if I can ask like any brand that kind of I have noticed that you're going a little bit mass appealing. Is that what's happening? Are you having professional nihilism because of the finances, or what's going on? Like, or your tastes have changed? I don't know. Who knows? You like Can more than Grass? Yes. Well, I tell you, Can has a lot more things, including an Uber. Grass didn't even have a freaking Uber to take me to the Institute of Grass, which is on top of the mountain, and my hotel was like in the skirt of the mountain. Anyways, y'all, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta take these guys to eat. And I just wanted a conversation, a quick chat. Let me know in the comments if you what you think of this topic. What are your thoughts? I'd like to hear from you. Um, Push the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. All those nice things. And I will see you later. Bye bye.